Good morning, dear students. Andito na naman tayo ngayon para sa ating subject na Understanding Culture, Society, and Politics. And as you can see on my screen or on my slides, we are now on Module 9 or week number 9. And our lesson for today is about stratification or the concept and forms of stratification. But before anything else, allow me to introduce to you our most essential learning competency, which is examine the concept, characteristics, and forms of stratification systems using sociological perspectives. And the following objectives are the following. Number one, identify the concept and stratification using a pyramid of the social classes. Two, compare the characteristics of two forms of stratification systems using a Venn diagram. Number three, identify social mobility and social inequality in understanding stratification systems in sociological perspectives. And lastly, view stratification systems as a way of or as a way for social mobility and a reason of social inequality in the society. So I have here pre-test, but I'm not going to include these on my lesson today. We're not going to answer that. Let's proceed to our discussion right away. So we are going to talk about the concept of social stratification. When we say social stratification, this is defined as the hierarchical arrangement and establishments of social categories that may evolve into social groups together with statuses and their corresponding roles in the society. So if I will ask you now, what is your role in the society? Or what is your role in your family? So if you will talk about it, then therefore we are talking about stratification. Kumbaga, ano ang lagay mo sa lipunan? Ano ang katayuan mo sa ating lipunan? Or kung ano ang katayuan mo sa inyong pamilya? Are you the head of the family or what? So, kung 'yon ang pinag-uusapan ninyo, then you are dealing with stratification. Okay? So, look at the diagram below. You will see a pyramid. We call it the pyramid of social classes or the social stratification. The upper class, they are on the top of the pyramid. Nasa gitna naman yung middle, and then sa base ng pyramid, yun naman yung mga lower class. And when we say social stratification, this is divided into three social classes. Una, which is the top of the pyramid, is the upper class. Remember the diagram kanina? This class in the society is described by the sociologist as the elite individuals or groups of people that are most prolific and successful in their respective areas. Okay? So sila yung mga nasa elite group, mga mayayaman. These people may be stockholders and investors in a very huge, well-known companies from different industries here and abroad. So sila yung mga taong kabilang sa upper class. In the second activity earlier, yung kanina sa pyramid, Henry C. and Lucio Tan, they are both considered as elite, and they belong to the upper class of the social stratification. So kung kilala nyo sila Henry C. and yung mga anak ngayon ni Henry C. and then the Lucio Tan's group, so sila yung nasa upper class. Next naman is the middle class. They are mostly professional individuals or groups of people, like lawyers, doctors, the managers, owners of small businesses in the localities, and the executive who works in the corporate world, or etc. So sila yung middle class. They can meet both their needs and wants without even worrying their finances because of the job and the salary they have. So hindi sila nababahala kung may kakainin sila o wala. Siguro ngayong pandemic hindi sila nag-worry kasi alam nila na kahit pandemic ay nakakatanggap pa rin sila ng kanilang salary at hindi sila nawala ng trabaho. So, yun, they belong to middle class. Ito mga uri ng taong to. They live in a spacious houses and situated in best suburbs. Okay? So, medyo may kagandahan yung kanilang tinitirahan, no? And the lowest part of the pyramid of social class or the classes is where the lower class situated. Sila yung mga nakatira doon sa baba ng pyramid. They are the skilled and the unskilled artisan, the farm employees, the underemployed, and the indigent families. So sila yung mga kabilang sa lower class. Because of the given status in life, these people lack revenue or income and educational training or background kasi nga they belong to the marginalized group of people. Without the proper education, some of them are jobless or have difficulty to find a job in order to make ends meet. So mga nahihirapan silang maghanap ng trabaho, no? So this is an example of stratification during the earliest civilization. Kung naalala ninyo ang inyong lesson sa Araling Panlipunan noon, so tinalakay ninyo yung social stratification during the earliest civilization. Sino yung mga nasa top of the pyramid? They are the king and the priest. They belong to the upper class. The scribes, the merchants and artisans, and the commoners naman, they belong to the middle class. Tapos yung mga alipin, they belong to the lower class. Okay? So, what are the characteristics of stratification? Una, it is universal but variable. Yan, a stratification is universal, pero it varies from one place to another place. Stratification is universal but variable because it shows up in every society in the world. Lahat, it's universal. Okay? But how exactly it looks like, how it divides and categorizes people, and what the advantages or disadvantages are that come with that division vary from one society to another society. So, yun ang sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina. It is universal pero hindi lahat ay pare-parehas ang experience. Okay? Okay. So, another one, not a matter of individual differences. People are obviously different from each other. So, we might assume that stratification is just a kind of natural outcome of differences. But in reality, it is not. We can see the effects of social stratification on people, regardless of their personal choices or traits. Okay. Persist across generations. Yes, it does. Stratification serves to recognize, to categorize and rank members of society across generations, resulting in different life chances. Yet, generally, society allows some degrees of social mobility or changes in the position within the social hierarchy. Okay? It persists across generation, pero may mga pagkakataon naman na where you are now might change in the future. Kasi nagkakaroon ng social mobility, hindi ka permanente sa katayuan mo sa buhay ngayon. But because you have enough education to find a job, then nagbabago ang katayuan mo sa buhay or yung social stratification na kinabibilangan mo. It is a social belief. There are some cultures na naniniwala na stratification is a social belief. Kumbaga, paniniwala lang, di ba? So, society's cultural belief tell us how to categorize people, and they define inequalities of a stratification system as being normal. Normal lang yung ganong uri ng tao sa lipunan. So if people don't believe that the system is right, it won't last. Okay? So what are the forms of social stratification systems? Una, it is closed system of stratification. May mga closed system. Isang halimbawa ng closed system, yung India's caste system. This is probably one of the best known forms of closed system of stratification. Bakit kaya closed system? Ibig sabihin, hindi ka nagmo-move. Kung ipinanganak kang ganito ang estado mo sa buhay, hanggang sa pagkamatay mo, you are in that stratification. At wala kang karapatan. Parang hindi ka na, kung ikaw ay mahirap, hindi ka pwedeng maahon sa kahirapan. That's the caste system in India. The traditional caste contains of 4 large divisions. Una, yung mga tinatawag na varnas. It consists of the Brahmin and priests or the academics in their native language as placed at the top of the hierarchy. So yung mga varnas, yung mga nasa top. Yung pangalawa naman, yung mga kasatriya or sila yung mga rulers, warriors, and administrators. Sila yung nasa pangalawang tao sa lipunan ng India noon sa caste system. Then yung pangatlo naman yung the Vaishya. So sila yung mga merchants at saka mga landowners, yung mga negosyante. Tapos yung last naman sa kanila is the Shudra or sila yung mga commoners, mga peasants at saka mga servants. Okay? So sila yung nasa dulo or nasa baba ng pyramid sa caste system sa India. Okay? So ito, closed system ito. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka nag-move. Halimbawa, ikaw ay Vaishya, merchants, tapos gusto mong makapag-asawa ng hari or sundalo, hindi pwede. Okay? So, dapat dyan ka lang talaga. Mananatili kang Vaishya for the rest of your life. Okay? So, yan. This is the pyramid of the caste system. The Brahmin, the Kshatriya, Vaishya, the Shudra. So the system required endogamy, meaning marriage within your own caste category. Yun ang sinasabi ko kanila. If you belong to Vaishya, dapat ang mapapangasawa mo ay kabilang dito sa group mo. Kung ikaw ay Sudra, dapat ang mapapangasawa mo ay kabilang sa mga Sudra. Hindi ka pwedeng makapag-asawa sa ibang hierarchy or ibang stratification. In everyday life, the caste system determines whom one could interact with and how. With systems of social control, the contact between lower and higher caste is restricted. Kung ikaw ay Sudra, hindi ka pwedeng makipag-usap sa mga Vaishya. Same thing with the other stratification. So, diniktahan ka. Okay? Pangalawa naman is the open system of stratification. Ang Pilipinas kaya ay isang open system stratification? We'll find out. The class system is one of the best examples of open system of stratification and is not based solely on ascribed status at birth alone. So, ang Pilipinas ay pwede. Pwede tayo makihalubilo sa mga mayayaman. Pwede, yung iba pa nga nakakapag-asawa ng mga mayayaman. So, ibig sabihin nun, hindi closed system, kundi open system. Okay? So, like ascribed status and achieved status. Anong pagkakaiba nito? Pag sinabing ascribed status, ito yung estado mo sa buhay na na nandiyan na sa'yo by birth. For example, if you are the king, if you are the son of the king, kapag ipinanganak ka, definitely you will be a prince or you will be a princess. So, nandiyan na yung status mo. Hindi, kumbaga namana mo na by birth. Namana. Okay? However, when we say achieved, ito yung estado mo sa buhay na na-achieve mo because of your hardship and because of your sacrifices. Let's say nakapag-aral ka na dating mahirap ka, pero dahil nakapag-aral ka, nakapagtrabaho ka ng magandang trabaho at magandang sweldo, then naahon mo na ang iyong sarili sa kahirapan, maging ang pamilya mo. So with that, that's the achieved status. Okay? So maraming halimbawa ng achieved status. Basta estado sa buhay na na-achieve mo because of what you did or dahil sa mga pagsisikap mo. Okay? So halimbawa sila ng class, open class system. Okay? So now let's move on to the activity. Part of this is part of our objectives kanina is the Venn diagram. So here, you will fill in the differences and similarities in the Venn diagram. Then afterwards, you have to explain on the space provided the differences and similarities in order to fully understand the stratification system. O ayan. So dito, yung class caste system. Dito yung caste system. Dito naman sa gitna, what is or what are their similarities. So i-explain mo dito sa baba yung sinulat mo dito sa Venn diagram. I-explain mo sa baba yung similarities mo na isinulat mo dito sa Venn diagram. And so on with the class system. Okay? So, do you understand? Okay. So, I might be posting your quiz in your Google Classroom. So, antabayanan natin yung quiz na yan. Okay? So, that is all for today for my discussion. Okay? So, if you have questions, do not forget to ask questions in sa klase natin later or this week. And if you have that question, pwede rin ninyong i-comment ang yung question sa ating comment section ng video ito. So, thank you again for listening and I hope may natutunan kayo sa aking video lesson. Okay? Bye everyone and see you in my class.